All right, this is a tarot reading / astrological analysis for the sign of Sagittarius. And this is for the energy of this Leo New Moon, which is on August 16th. While I'm shuffling, I'll just show you the chart. I've got it set up for whole signs right now just to make it easier. Generally speaking, I'm a porphyry house system man. I use Western tropical astrology. Right now I'm using the Greene Mythic tarot deck. And I'm just shuffling up so we can get a reading. Now I'm going to do a 9-card spread. I'll look at the bottom card, maybe a middle card, and maybe a few other cards as clarifiers if I feel so called to do that. Keep in mind this is a general reading. The analysis is going to be based off whole signs, so it's a little bit more generic. But overall, it should fit with the energetics you're feeling at this time. These are big energies. The world's insane. Or unsane, I should say. So it's good to be insane in an unsane world, I suppose. All right. We got some cards here. I'm just going to lay them down. I'll show you them as I go. I like to do these quick and easy. I don't want to make a huge project out of this. Because in the end, what really matters is the message. Wow. Leo had the Empress at the bottom, so do you. All right, so we're starting off here with the reading. 5 of Cups. So walking away from something, but you don't know what it is. Caught up in the losing game. Something within your emotions causing you to seek. We have we got 4 spilled cups in this image. 1 cup just sitting there. That represents the potential possibly of your own sovereign emotional needs. Forgetting about that because you're in search of that 2 of Cups, that emotional connection. We seek ourselves through others, through the world. It's natural. And in pursuing whatever that is, it brings us into the Wheel of Fortune here. The wheel spins. We've got the 3 witches on the outside. So this is Liz Greene's Mythic Tarot. It's a little bit different interpretation than the standard tarot. You can see there's 4 figures on the wheel. And generally speaking, the Wheel of Fortune, you see the 4 fixed signs. Aquarius, Leo, Taurus, Scorpio. What are you weaving? What are you cutting? How are you discerning what your fortune possibly could be. Is it caught up in the illusions of the past, or is it something that you have been repressed that you are now rediscovering within yourself? Leading us into the Hanged Man. I know I've felt like this. A lot of people have. This world's gone upside down, so it's begun to show us ourselves in relation to the world. A lot of our beliefs are fixated on externalized expressions, things that echo response back to us. So possibly seeing the world anew, or realizing that it's just not that comfortable to put others and other situations which actually don't serve you above yourself. This also represents to me in this imagery, I'm seeing this as Prometheus here, which is what is happening collectively and at the individual level. We're all coming into a higher level of awareness through Uranus. We'll get into the astrology here in a second. Let me bring this a little bit bigger so you can see it easier. We'll get to the chart again. Part of that Hanged Man process, when you start to feel the emotions that come through as painful or uncomfortable. Because to get to the emotions, you gotta get to all emotions, not just the positive. And that leaves us in the mind, trapped in the expressions of echoes past. We often do things that we know aren't really in our favor. We often view things from a egoic expression of where we've been because our surroundings and the people within our environment, they need to hold us in that image in order to validate their relational dynamics with us, in order to relate with us. But deep within, we always know, we always have a sense that, I'm growing, I'm not who I've been in how do I say this? Who I have been is only a part of the process. It doesn't define me. But to get into the purity of the emotions, there's a lot of mental loops and programming and hang-ups that we have to begin to sort out, release. And so it kind of puts us in this foundational state sometimes, where we're holding on to the value that we've cultivated in life. And we've created a lot of good, meaningful connections and things in this world that have contributed to not only ourselves, but to others. And so sometimes our ego is wrapped up in connection with those things, and so to release your programming and who you've been, it is scary because you have to release the foundational things that hold you fast to the static, the safety of what has worked in the past, what has given others foundation or sanctuary in your presence. And so we hold down a lot of these lies within ourselves. We hold down the games that we play in relation to this world, and the things that we allow others to play with in relation to us. We have to be secretive, because when you tell your truth to another, it exposes you. Because absolutions, when they die, they give realization to contradiction. And if you think about when you were young in the past, contradiction is not necessarily a good trait, because people want the firm reality of someone that is true to their convictions or speaks as they appear. Never quite acknowledging that a lot of that is just surface level BS that we have to front in order to create consensus reality narration. All right, now leaving the Seven of Swords, realizing the lies of the self, you come upon the Six of Cups here. This is the nostalgia of the authenticity of emotions past. Possibly past loves, whether that be a person or a creative endeavor or something you've wanted to do that you've repressed in order to maintain status quo. Finding the love, going back to that cup from the Five of Cups, you're stepping forward into an emotional fulfillment. And it's bringing you into this, the Sun, the happiest card in the deck for most people. Some people don't like happy though. Look at this guy. I mean, is that Apollo? Who is this? He's got a bow, he's got a harp thing, he's just standing there in front of the arch. It's a realization. Look at his head, It's a realization that you can be who you want to be. You just got to figure out how to make that work for you in the shit show world. But contentment, the foundation of the self, is actually core to all foundation. It's the only value, and it leads to the alchemical wedding, the lovers. So seeing that you got Six of Cups, the Sun and the lovers, you may be meeting someone. You may be meeting a soul connection. And in that process, a lot of times you meet yourself first, or you meet yourself in the process with another. So there's a world being held by the Queen over here, the potential, and the fertility being held by the Shepherd here. And then you've got Justice there with the Ace of Swords, and possibly you holding the cup, because in the beginning you were seeking the cup, found the cup, and now you're reflecting the love of yourself into this world, and it's reciprocal. At the bottom we have the Empress, so that's pretty awesome. It's a good energy to have. And what do we got at the middle? Whew. That was Four of Wands right there. That is Four of Wands. I think you got some divine justice coming in. That's how I feel. I'm a progressed Sagittarius rising right now. I'm natal Scorpio ascendant, progressed Sag, so I can feel this. All right, so let me break it down real quick again. Feeling like you missed opportunities, because we all have. That's part of the process. We got to feel the pain in order to know the gain. That process puts us into realization that the wheel opportunity is always spinning. It's the cultivation of awareness which dictates when you notice it. The Hanged Man, the Promethean process. Being uncomfortable and learning through those uncomfortable times gives you an awareness of, oh, I matter, my value matters. How do I turn myself upside down, or this world right side up, so that I can walk forward? You begin that process, you fall into the Eight of Swords. Am I good enough for this? Am I my experiences? Is the programming who I actually am? After all, Four of Pentacles, how do I break the programming? How do I change myself when the world I've constructed, the people in my life are depending on me in the way that I have projected in relation to these dynamics? Then the Seven of Swords comes in. We're going from the 8 to the 7 of Swords. So you start to see, well, how do I untangle the lies I've told myself? How do I be strategic with this? How can I untether the foundation without destroying other people in a way that's reciprocal of my own value, so that I can show them their value by me standing in my power, standing in my authority, without trying to take or smash anyone else's paradigms. But we got to do what's right for us sometimes, and that's getting back to that Six of Cups here. The nostalgia of the purity of the love, the emotional contentment you felt as a very small child, and then reciprocating that, reflecting that into the world rather than the imagery of what you were programmed with afterwards. When you can get back in tune with the authentic expression of your emotions, you tap back into the sun and the child within is reborn. And that's the alchemical wedding of the lovers. And then you find the Empress, the fertile grounds. And you create new foundation with the Four of Wands. All right, so I got to turn my... I'm cooking right now, so let me stop something. I'll be right back. I could hear the potatoes sizzling. I don't want burnt potatoes. All right, so we're going to get into the chart now. Now this chart here is, as I mentioned before, this is Western Tropical Astrology, and I've got it set for whole signs because it just makes it easier to break down for generalized interpretations. If I analyze your chart individually, I use Porphyry house system. I like the details. I feel that there's a lot of nuance, which you can get with whole sign, but you need to learn all these other techniques. And I'm just interested in a non-denominational approach to learning, so I take in everything. All right, so Ascendant Sagittarius, fire here, and we have the 9th house activated, which is the natural Sagittarius house. This Leo New Moon is going to be at 23 degrees Leo. I had to speed it up so that I could get the signs lined up. But just imagine the moon's at 23 with the sun. So you've got the stellium here. Venus, retrograde, still retrograde. The sun, the moon, and Black Moon Lilith. The house of God, how we've communicated, how we have learned. What is the meaning of all the data? What is the meaning of all the experiences? It might have meant one thing to you at a specific time and place. When you were young, maybe your heart got broken. That breaking of the heart set you in motion towards certain dynamics of being in relation with other people, where your value was safeguarded, hidden, or your value was devalued in order for you to become more resistant to pain. Well, we're coming into a new emotional awareness with the new moon. We just got over a very powerful Cancer new moon cycle. Cancer is the spirit of Leo, essentially. It's 12th house to Leo. So you look at the square with Taurus and Virgo, or Taurus here and Scorpio. What is the meaning of the value from which you have cultivated your life? What's the meaning of the value which was programmed into you through the experiences that helped you to cultivate this sense of self, this sense of value? How has it limited your understanding of the world, of dynamics and relationship, and of yourself? And what have you shed? You know, we just had the Venus, actually the Venus might be happening today. I'm doing this reading on the 13th of August. So Venus, Cazimi, the sun, retrograde. So Venus is burning up. All that was false within her is being burnt. She is becoming pure, purified through the highest expression of the sun in Leo, third decan, which is in the Martian decan of Leo. So the passions. How have your passions been purified through the past few months? You may not realize what it is yet. You may not realize it until we hit the Sag square or the Sag trine, when the sun or Venus makes it over here, or the moon. We're all a little bit different. We're assimilating, digesting, transforming at different clicks, different speeds. But how have you realized what values were forced upon you, were programmed into you, were given to you through others, through your conditioning, through your schooling, through the shadow? And how has that repression caused your own inner rebellion? You know, Black Moon Lilith to me represents the Yanama, the repressed feminine within us. It is the balanced power. A lot of people don't know how to handle their power. You're seeing Black Moon Lilith rise in people, and they're joining protests. All the fear and all the emotions that everyone has within themselves, the easiest outlet is through anger. And so people are finding their causes. They're finding something in the world rather than finding the value within themselves. But the world will show us this. So what is the value within yourself? What is the higher lessons? What is the higher teachings of all your experiences? How do you assimilate all that data into the true value of your beliefs? How can your beliefs help you? How can your beliefs raise you up past all of the debris of the past? So that the higher expression of the mind, we've got Pallas Athena here conjunct Mercury in Virgo. Mercury is at its best in Virgo as far as applicable matters around this world and bringing metaphysical information into the mundane. And it's conjunct Mars. Mars is in the Venusian decan, and Pallas Athena and Mercury are in the Saturnian decan. Now these are trining Uranus and Jupiter, which are squaring all this up here in Leo. So how do you use the squares? How do you put the tension to form? Write, create, express, travel. If you can't do that, then remember all the things in the world you got to do, all the things in the world that are pushing on you, maybe career-oriented, maybe your vision, maybe you're trying to create something, a way for yourself in this world. How can you assimilate all the data without being limited by the data? How do you allow growth with what is and what isn't when you don't know the potentials? Well, through feeling the authenticity of the love for the self, the purity of the child, bringing that forward, you set yourself on an anchor, you give yourself an anchor point and you set yourself in motion. That way the mind follows the heart. And in Virgo, the mind is very powerful. but it can be caught up in the myopia of the detail. So just know that with Uranus here, values are changing, and it's through the transformation of belief. Taurus is the transformation, the working transformation of the Sagittarian beliefs. And Cancer is the emotional awareness of what those beliefs can do to you, which is the spirit which is infused in all this Leo stuff. So feel into your emotions. Allow that which benefits, nourishes, feeds your spirit to enliven your direction, your path in this life. So maybe you had a dream, a vision, maybe you had friends, maybe you had communal expectations in relationship to this world and to other people, in relationship to yourself. So how do you now express yourself in a more authentic way? Something that is in alignment with what you know because you've experienced it. What you know because it feels right. Regardless of all the layering of programming and imprinting. How do you heal the child within so that you can feel the value of what that is? And you can bring that forward. There's passion here in relation to information. And that information changes, so you got to find out what's behind the information, what's behind the programming, what have others expected of you because you've allowed it. Now Neptune down here, still in a yod, will be in the yod with the moon and the south node on the 16th, finger of God stuff. This is transforming your spirit through your emotional awareness, doing things you've done in the past in terms of relationships differently, something that is more balanced in alignment with you, and not from the egoic perspective, but from a self-centered, authentic expression. You know, we are in relationship to the world. We're born alone, we'll die alone, but we're never alone. So how do you reciprocate true value? You got to find it, cultivate it within yourself and your connections and your relationships. And Neptune here is the result of the spiritual growth that you've accumulated as a realization through releasing what no longer serves you, releasing what has held you back. Now Pluto is in the second house, Capricorn for you, and in dynamics it's about value, the value that you cultivate through your efforts, and you can share that with others. And for me, I've found the best way for me to share my value is to first find it within myself, cultivate it within myself, and then I bring that forward. And Pluto brings gifts. It is the soul's evolutionary intention if you study evolutionary astrology, and I do believe that to be true. So society gives us value for good reason a lot of times, but there are times, and these are these times when we've got to break tradition that has been externalized into the edifice of the shit show. So find your value, bring forth your power, and the world will reward you. Your ancestors will smile upon you. All right, so that's the reading and astrological analysis. I hope or trust that you may have found some value in it. If you did and you would like a reading for me, I do astrological readings. I'm learning tarot, but I'm an intuitive person. So if you want an astrological analysis, go to my website and just fill out a form thing. I've got a couple options. So thanks for watching. Take care.